All right, chat. Do you want to see something stupid? Do you want to see what I've been working on? That's fairly stupid. Do you want to see stupid things? Chat, do you want to see stupid things? Okay. Okay. So for first off, we're gonna have to do a little thing here. Don't worry about this, okay? I'm just gonna, yeah? So yeah, I might have found a place to hide out for a little while. Yeah, and it might just, like, I think I'm about using this place for a base for a little while. Just in between situations, between we do things, like, it's not the prettiest. I know, but look, it's a starting place, so I think it'd work. Uh huh. Okay. But here, one second. It's just gonna, so. See, like there's this whole area over here too. This one's like nice. I like the spot over here. And there's food. Like there's food everywhere. You know what else I can do? You want to know something else? Huh? I'm just gonna. Don't worry about it. Boo. But yeah, so I have a hideout now. Chat. Do you like my hideout? I can take people here, and we can commit crimes here. I mean, we're not going to commit crimes here, but like, it's a place between things. For like a starter base. For a starter base. I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect. Yes, not war crimes, normal crimes. Like, look. C tier villain. I need a place to be working at, and like it. Sure, it's not the best place, but like, I mean. Oh no, I came back out. I didn't mean to come out yet. Wait. Aha. There it is. See? Like here. And then I could do stuff here. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. But it's a fixer-upper, okay? It's a fixer-upper. I know it's a fixer-upper, but like, it's better than nothing, okay? So what do you think? I mean, like, be brutal. Is it beautiful? And I mean, like, there's other spaces, but like I haven't gotten to those spaces yet. Like, we haven't cleaned them up yet. What do you mean no? But okay, but look. This stuff here, like, see, it's I feel, personally, I feel. Oh no, my head's gone. Ah. Anyways, I feel like this stuff over here makes it worthwhile. It's fine. I mean, it's clean enough. It's clean enough, right? Right? I mean, especially like over here. Just see. Oh no, that's the part this is just a void. It quits existing over here. But yeah. At least I have food. Exactly. At least I have food. Say no. Oh no. There we are. But yes, once I get all the animations and stuff working better, I can pop around this place and it'll be great. And there's other angles, there's other rooms. We can go look at those. And then whenever raiders come in, we'll come back here. That way they'll want to stay, chat. But yes, how's everybody doing today? How is everybody doing today? I hope you're all doing very, very wonderful. And temporarily, I mean, because it's not done yet, I guess we'll just have to hang out over here for now. Wait, here? No, here. Whoa, I remember what's going on. Aha. I have too many things open. Boop, boop. There it is. See, this one will work for now. But yes, how's everybody been? Have you all been lovely? Have you had an amazing day? Oh, I'm feeling awful, chat. I stood up and I fell over, and it was just gone. My whole brain just out. My brain goes, but my body, no. Oh, sorry. This place is fake though. It's just a painting on a wall. I mean, I didn't want to like spoil the illusion, chat, but like this, not real. It's green screen. No, I've been in the convenience store the entire time. Like this, you've thought I've been here. No, I've just been here. I've been here the whole time. This? No, it's just been this. I know it's a little bit disappointing, but yeah. It's okay, Sunbrood, okay. It's okay. We'll get you snacks. Also, kind Fox, thank you for the follow. Sunbrood, thank you for the follow. And Mixeland, 41 minutes ago. You followed me a while ago. Thank you for the follow. But yeah, so we'll pretend we're here, okay? It's fine. It's fine. You're lost in the freezer. Wait. Let me go check the freezer real quick. We'll go take a look at the freezer real quick. It should be fine. Is it over here? Nope, that's not it. Here. I don't see you there. Wait. Oh, and that's just a void. Don't worry about this, that. Don't worry about that one. But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. See, it's everything is fine. You like the void? I also like the void. It's where I go to think sometimes. Why is the door locked from the inside? No. No, you cannot leave. No. The food is fine. Look. The food is absolutely fine. Here. We'll just try. Oh, that's the void again. I just gonna try some of it. It's fine. I mean, it's fine. It's fine, chat. You don't have to. But yeah. Huh? What happened? Hey, thank you for the subs. Thank you. What did we give? Hi, Vix. Thank you for the sub. Appreciate it. Also, you want Jello? I'll see what I can do. But currently, we only have 2 parts of it. No, Keely, sweetie. There's a basement. I haven't shown you the basement yet. I'm not going to show you the basement today. You can get lower than this. Be happy you're in the freezer. Anyways, back to the green screen. So, hi everybody. Yes. We're playing games. I mean, look. While things are still under construction and we're waiting for the homeless people, the tenants to move out, we're gonna play some games today, you know? And so maybe later when the freezers aren't actually working, so the ice cream might be melted, but it's fine. Today, we are playing Silent Hill, the new Silent Hill, because it came out today, apparently, and nobody told me you could pre-order it. Yeah, it's going to be spooky. I'm sorry, chat. If you're not into being spooked, it's okay. I'm here with you. I'll be laughing. I'll be going, oh my god, this is so scary, and then I will probably cry. Just kidding, I won't cry. I won't cry much. Only a little. I'm playing the new one. It just came out. Rosanne, how you doing? Hi, Foodie, by the way. Also, let me give some shout outs today. Thank you, Aiko, for getting first, but then immediately getting stolen and eventually being claimed by Anya. Thank you, Vix. Hi, Vixaria, for getting second. Who got third? And thank you, Vanya, for getting third. Hi, Vanya. What the hell is this? What do we get? Who did Hype Train? Hype Train? Why do we have a Hype Train? Why is there a Hype Train? What happened? I'm so confused. There's a warning. Some of the enemies are a bit graphic. That is all. It is a horror game, chat. So just to let you know, we'll be doing horrors. It's gonna be great. We got a Hype Train, chat. I'm so happy. Also, hello, everybody. Let me say hi to everybody. Let's scroll down. We're gonna All right, we have hi Aura, hi Aiko, hi Venus, hi Robin, hi Spell, hi Robin again, hi Nap Time, hi Aiko again, hello Silas, hello Vanya, hello Vix. Hey! Thank you for the club. I appreciate it. Thank you. Hello Sunbrood, new colorful jacket. Well, what do you mean jacket? Are you trying to take my jacket? My jacket. Stop taking my clothes. Hi Aura, hi Silas. You been spotted. Hello, Miss Oreo. Hello, Miss Oreo Freak. How you doing? We're not committing war crimes yet. We might, but just normal crimes. Like the kind of crimes that get us money so that we can commit more crimes and have a nicer place. Like, look, if we eventually commit enough crimes, then we can have a nicer place. And so streams are going to happen from random crime scenes. Don't worry about it. It will be fine. We'll just play games until cops arrive whenever we do the crimes. It's okay. It's okay. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about the crime scenes. Hello, Carmia. Hello, Crucy. Hello, Venus. Hello, Miss Oreo again. Hello, Keeper. I've already said hi to Keeper, though, and I already said hi to Vanya, but we'll say hi, Vanya, again. Hello, Snowfang. Hello, Keely. Hello, Gangsta Neeks. Hello, Neeks. Hello. If I've missed anybody, hello to you too. There's a lot of people, and chat keeps moving. You're no longer special. We gently threaten people so that they don't understand if they're being scared or aroused. Wait. What? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean we're scaring people so they don't know if they're being... I'm so confused. Hello, Soul. What is up? What do you mean? Hello, Ocean. We're not scaring people, chat. I refuse. But yes. It has been... Actually, we have 7 more minutes, chat. 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes? 11 more minutes. Chat, I'm bad at math. We have 10 minutes. Some things are better to not ask about, Gene. Refused. Tell me a story. Right now. Do you want to, hey, Desi, you want to see the new place I got? Desi, you want to see the new place? Anybody who hasn't seen the place, I'm going to show you off the new place. Here, just give me a second. Give me 1 second. It's fine. I'm just going to, whoop. Oh, wait. So. Yeah. So this is the new place. Hi, Desi. Look, it's a fixer-upper. But like for a layer, it's great. It's great. It's great for a layer, isn't it? Like, look, I only had like $100 to spend on a place, and so it's fine. It's fine. No, we have cardboard boxes. Okay. No, see, look. There's candy over here. We got more candy over here, and we got a little glass part where you can see through. I mean, hi. So, isn't it perfect? I mean, okay. Look. It's not the best, of course, but like, I mean, it could be better. It could be worse. It is what it is. And like, I mean, like genuinely, what do you expect me to afford on a streamer's budget? I have to pay for therapy, chat. And so after therapy, this is all the money I had left. Okay? It could be worse. I'm proud of myself. I mean, like, look, therapy was expensive, and like, hey, at least we got the... Wait, did we just get raided by villains? What? Oh, hello, villains. Wait, give me a second. Let me get to a better scene where you can actually see the raid stuff. Boop, 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 boop. Oh no. Hi. Wait, no, there it is. Hello. That's wrong still. I've broken everything. Hello, people. Hello. Can we get a shout out for villains? Let's get a shout out for villains. Hello, villains. We are villains. I'm a villain in training. Look, it's the first layer I've ever had, okay? It's the first layer I've ever had. And could it be better? Yes. I get it, chat. It could be a better layer. But like, it's here, right? We here to play also to a streaming today on the V Villains account. Wait, who was streaming on the V Villains account? Multiple people stream on the V Villains account? I am so curious. I want to know more. Can you live on the roof? Look, you can probably live on the top of the roof. It'll be fine. It's a fixer-upper. And like, I mean, some of it's nice, you know? Some of it's a little kind of cozy, you know? It's just like, like this part here. This part, see? I have a window. The window makes it cool, okay? So, you know. You want to know you have my Twitter? You want to know you have my... do I have your Twitter? Do I have your Twitter? Okay, wait. I need to learn. I need to learn about this. We're researching. I'm researching now, chat. Behave yourselves. Well, okay. Well, look. Where else am I going to stand? Not behind the counter? This is where I take my villainous orders. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I usually sleep back here, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. What do you mean? I am looking. Hey, chat, stop it. But no, it's fine. It's fine. It's a beautiful place. It's cute. It's new. And you know, oh, that's wrong. Here I am. So, the feedback. Is it what spot makes you invisible? What spot? Random spots. A broom I need to sweep. Okay, look. How about this? We'll get hostages. Chat, we'll get hostages. We'll bring them back here, and they can clean, and then it's fine. Again, it was like $100. So, but yes, yeah. Well, anyways, we'll go back to the green screen. The green screen makes things all seem much nicer. See? Oh, no, that doesn't. Because I've hit the wrong button. Boop, boop, boop. Green screen. Okay. Anyways, sorry. Hello, villains. I was showing off my Jane. Check your Twitter. Okay, we're gonna check out my Twitter real quick. Give me a second. But yes, hello, lovely people. I was showing off my new house. It's great. I love it. Wait a second. I do know you. Hello. It's been a long time. How have you been? ADD go burr. I am a sweet dork. I will learn things. I got distracted. Hi, chat. Right. So we're playing games today. And also, hello, new people. I hope you enjoy your time here. I promise it only gets worse. It only gets worse. Bad. What was I doing? Oh, also, new people, hello, welcome to the basement. You're permanently stuck here. No, Ocean. Ocean, I would like to see you try to run. This is the basement. Well, it's a green screen, but it's fine. It's fine. Does the new place have an attic? You can live in the ceiling or on the roof. I am working on remodeling a few more aisles, and we'll see those later. But hey, they're fine right now. No, there's a basement. Don't worry. I made sure there's one. Okay. It is time. It is time. No, you're not allowed to. It's too late, Neeks. It's too late. You're stuck here forever. Silent Hill. F? It is Silent Hill F. Yay! Is it something dumb like Silent Hill? Wait, if I'm in your basement, am I your wife? Well, technically everyone's in my basement. How am I supposed to hit partner, chat? If I let viewers go, how am I supposed to hit partner? Why would you come back? Why would you stay? Like, just... It makes sense. So, obviously, I will have to keep all of you forever. I'm sorry. All right. Game. You ready? I don't trust you to come back. No, why? Look,
Look, Twitch is gonna be like, oh my god, you're boosting your viewer count. I'm like, no, I'm not. See, they're all here. You can physically see the viewers. And then they'll give me a partner. That's the goal, chat. Just a few of you keep escaping when I stop streaming, so apparently I just need to stream longer so you can't leave. I will bring you a broom, Maple. You can sweep yourself, okay? Wait, where's the exit button? Oh no, chat. I can't get out of this menu. Wait, how do we... Huh? Ah, I figured it out. Okay. Arctic, this is why you do what? Why do you do what, Arctic? Okay, we're gonna do story. Oh, wait. For players... Why? It just came out today. Why is combat on story and puzzle on hard? How do we make puzzle easier? All right, we're gonna try it. We're gonna do everything on hard. Chat. I pre-ordered, so I got the bunny outfit. Do we do the bunny? Okay. Thank you for the sub. We have to do the bunny outfit. I have to do the bunny outfit. I mean, what goes better with horror than bunny outfits? Wait, we're gonna copy that.
Anyway, who even cares about their dumb games?
Hinako? I thought you were playing with your friends.
They said I can't play house with them because I hang out with boys.
Oh, we're already friends.
How about you play with your big sister instead?
Really?
Thanks for waiting. Did something happen?
Sorry, I wasn't watching the game for a few seconds. I didn't realize this was happening.
We were kids.
This is amazing. The tail! I said.
Here, this is for you. It's beautiful. Thank you.
All right, Siren, you be good. Have a good one. Bye. Hi, Allie. I am cutie. It's beautiful. Chat, this is my jam. Hi, Ulrika. Ulrika, you haven't seen my new place yet. I'll show you the place later, after the intro. It's important everybody sees the new place. Come on. Fine, we'll do it during breaks. During stream breaks, we'll go to the new place, okay? And we'll hang out there. Okay, it's a temporary place, okay? Again, remember, not even a villain yet, chat. I haven't gotten my villain form yet. But it's fine, chat. One day, we'll have the amazing place. Oh! Has chat not heard about the... You've heard about the villain arc? Chat, we're becoming a villain. Oh, I'm becoming a villain. You're becoming minions. I already got your form picked out. Oh, it's so cute. He's got a little hat, and there's different forms. One has bunny ears. One has like little cat ears. One has little dog ears. He's so adorable.
How dare you
No,
speak
that
to your
moon
parents
is far.
like that?
Dear,
Moon is so far
calm down.
away. It's gonna be a while.
Knows how to show some respect.
Stream's going
Why
good.
the hell can't you be more like her? Where do you think you're going?
The bunny ears.
We're not
Yes.
done here, young lady.
You already made your point.
Look, it's okay. She's just
Why isn't
always
she
gonna be a
listening to
furry.
me? If you
She's
hadn't
always gonna be a
spoiled her so
furry.
much, she wouldn't act like such a brat all the time.
Oh, of course.
Hinako, don't go.
Honey,
You're
she
fine.
just thinks she's a bunny. It's okay. She's allowed to pretend to be a bunny. It's fine. Hello, Eddie. Okay, you ready?
There's no way. Never.
Amazing, 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 amazing. Ah! This is so dumb. Is the Discord link working for you? Bum, 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 bum. Do, do. Pick up. Oh, chat, you're blocking the screen. Okay, chat, I need to adjust you real quick. It's fine. Just you all behave yourselves. Stay there. Don't move. It'll be okay. Everything's going to be fine, chat. Everything is going to be fine. Don't panic while I'm not looking. I'm not looking right now. Just don't panic. Okay? No panicking. Stop setting on a fire. Come on, chat. We just. All right, chat. We're going back. I'm sorry, chat. We got to go back. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You know what? There. We're back. I'm gonna lock you here. I'm leaving you here. You know what? No. No, you know where you're going? Chat, you know where you go? You know where you got to go? You all? Uh-huh. To the void. Putting you in the void, chat. We're putting you back in the void. No, I want to go back. It's too late, chat. You're back in the void. Stay in the void. That's where you're going. Or I'll put you in the fucking freezer. I will put you in the freezer with the rotten fruit and the juice and stuff. So either you go in the freezer or you go in the void. Okay? Oh, sorry, the green screen. Right. I'll just give me a second, chat. I got see, look, it's all better. It's all nice. It's been nice the entire time. It's We're totally in a lovely, nice, warm place, and you aren't in the freezer, chat. I didn't leave you in the freezer. I'm gonna turn that freezer on, chat. Don't leave me unsupervised around the chemicals. This is why you go in the void. Okay. Some of you can handle being outside of the void, but other of you, no. Put me back in the freezer. Okay, local doctor's note. There have been sightings of foxes coming into town recently. I'm sure that the older generation have grown up learning to respect foxes are fine, but I'm concerned for any children who try to chase or provoke the creatures. Foxes by nature are not aggressive, but just like wild dogs, they carry diseases such as rabies, tetanus, and echinococcus. Help! How do I pronounce that word? echinococcus? To name just a few, the town committee should send out warnings to ensure people don't go unnecessarily close to them. Echinococcus. Echinococcus. It's fine. It's fine, chat. It's fine, chat. You know, big words are... They are... I shouldn't have turned puzzles on hard. I shouldn't have put puzzles on hard. If I'd left puzzles on easy, the words would have been simpler and it would have been fine.
Hello. I got the cock part. Okay. It sounds like you're trying to read a techno beat out loud. No, sorry, bud, but I'm bad at reading too. He's just a little guy. I'm just a little guy in my little bunny outfit. I got lost. Oh, God. There we go. Finish the tutorials. What do you mean tutorial?
Guess I'll pray.
Oh, hell yeah. All right, chat. It's time to get religion. Oh, we can change clothes. So I could choose the more appropriate Navy sailor school uniform. I could do the white sailor uniform. Yeah, no, you can't. I know. You're like, Gene, maybe choose something different. No. Never. We're playing today. I brought tea for everybody. Pink bunny. Of course. Also, I saw you earlier. Hello. I need to learn how to pronounce your name. Wait, come back. Where are you? Suwuna. Pronounce your name. Suwuna. Front and center. Come here. Teach me how to say your name. This is very important. I'll take you back into the void. Right now. Don't. Oh, right. Sorry. You're right. Suwuna. Come here. Teach me how to say your name. Feel a little bit better. Oh, no. I feel awful, chat. I am dying. It's great. Oh, hi, Fountain. How you doing? Hello. And hello, Vampire. Oh, I want tea. Oh, because I'm very... Hello! I go by he, they. Chat, what do you go by? Oh, I don't have any meds, chat. Nap time, it's fine. I totally do. Oh, I can't open it. I had too much energy. But chat, what pronouns do you use? I use he, they. And so now they hate me. King Desi! Desi! Hello, Raiders. Guess what that means, chat? It's time to go to the green screen. Hello, Raiders. Ain't no way you just won. Well, you know what? I gotta show you the new place that we just got. So King Desi. Do you want to see our base? Look, it cost me $100, so it's difficult to afford, but it's fine. It's fine. So yeah, we're just gonna vanish real quick, so I can do a little. So yeah, we got a new place, and I think it's nice. Personally, I love it. I mean, look. It's got this little window back here you can see me through. And it's got so it also has this I'm here, and it's got this. It's got a freezer, so in case you wanna have things chilled, and it's got the void. So it's lovely. Look, okay. Will, thank you so much for the Wadim. As an amateur villain, I haven't even filled out the paperwork yet. They haven't gotten back to me with my official villain name yet. But as a villain, it's really it's kind of just all I could afford to start with. So be nice maybe. I mean, look, $100. After everything that I've spent through streaming, it could be worse. Right? Oh, Vampire, that sounds lovely. So but thank you for the raid. Can we get a shout out for Dazzy, lovely Dazzy? What were we doing? I'm such a good doggy. Anyways, back to the game. But thank you. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for the raid. And hello, lovely people. I'm on my villain shiz right now. We're working on getting there. Oh, really? I mean, hi, Dazzy. I hope the game is great. Me too. But if you need a raid and run, please feel free to do so. Okay, look. You're okay. unlicensed villains are only allowed to purchase certain hideouts, and that was an officially declared hideout. Okay, like it was official. The government even said like it's a legal hideout. And so as a new villain, it's all I can really afford, chat. But look, we'll get registered. We'll figure it out. It'll be fine. I mean, should I call Hey Daddy? Anyways, I'm gonna go lurk for a bit. I did 20k steps at work this morning. Want to lay down? Oh, enjoy your laying down. It has character. Exactly. And once we get a few hostages, that'll be fine. No, not homeless. The convenience store. There's a home. That counts. Home is... Which one? Or the...
What about Chizuruya? Maybe you'll find someone there.
Dazzy sounds like Desi. Oh, Desi, sweetie. Oh, baby girl, you know how to talk to you however you want me to talk to you. Remember, you're still in the tutorial. How are we still in the tutorial? I'm kidding. I'll behave myself, okay? You living in the vents? That's fine. I'm so lost. I don't know. Whatever.
Excuse
Let me
me?
know. Hit me up. DM me. We'll plan out a collab. Gonna chuck pennies at you?
Is anyone there?
Oh no. God, the bunny ears, the bunny ears, the bunny ears. Yes! Layer! Come on, honeydew, please. If at least I can pretend, you can pretend. Anyways, we're calming down. All right, chat, I'm here. I'm relaxed. We're vibing. We're here. We're good.
Better find
Add
another
bunny
way.
ears to my throne. I think I could find bunny ears to the model. I mean, for my face, my real head.
I remember there was a shortcut up ahead.
They're gone forever. Cause they're magic. But do you need praise? Add bunny suit? I'm not adding a bunny suit to throne. Somebody will buy that. Y'all still haven't funded my table, chat.
I would never hurt that family.
Exactly. That's why I'm not putting it on there. I know you would. That's why it's not going on. Also, they don't make a 6'4" bunny suit, chat. Put on the bunny suit. I'm not... I know you wanted to redeem it for somebody, Ocean. La da 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 da. What did I do?
Sakuko,
Where are you off to? Don't usually see you around here.
5'9" vibes. Are you calling me short?
truck was blocking the road.
Chizuruya?
I just want to talk to someone.
I'll be there in a bit, okay?
I think she's just autistic. I think she's just autistic, chat. That's she only is comfortable in the 5'9" is not 5'9" is short, chat. I'm 6'4". I'm a big boy. Where are we going? I mean, y'all, yeah, if y'all below 6'4", you short. You just gotta accept it, chat. You're 11'11", I believe it. Take it. Don't take my kneecaps. I need those. I mean, Oreo.
Hey.
I have quite a few personalities. You can pick your favorite. Bye-bye, Spell. Have a good one. Mwah. Why the fuck is she wearing a bunny suit? Don't look at her. Don't pay attention to it. It's fine.
say something.
What about you? Nothing you want to say?
You want to talk about your bunny suit, maybe?
Well, if you don't
You're tiny,
mind,
Arctic. I can put you up on a
neither do
shelf.
I.
Forget the kneecaps. Can we take his ears? Mine! No.
That's my
I'm not wearing a bunny suit yet. God, can you imagine?
It's not like you to just let stuff happen, though.
Good night, honeydew.
Whatever you end up choosing, you know I'll always be there for you.
Shoo.
You're going on a shelf.
Shoo, thanks for waiting.
Oh God, it's the weird bunny girl again. I mean, hi,
Too.
Hinako. Love you. God, look at you, girl. Look at you, so fashionable. Was it the weird ass bunny suit you're talking about? No.
Nothing, really.
She said that she just wanted to talk to someone.
It helped too.
Oh. Glad to be of service, ma'am.
Robin, are you okay? Why do you want this so badly?
Oh, you can hold on to it. I knew I wasn't getting it back when I lent it to you.
What's that supposed to mean? What do you think you're laughing at? You've got something.
Why do they
first
hate
too,
her?
Don't you? Right?
Wait, did I borrow something? Hey, Hinako, do I get to hold on to the 500 yen I owe you too?
What happened to paying her back with interest?
Did I
never
say
said
why?
that. You can't prove I did.
I can't read that.
Okay, that does it. If I lend you something, you're signing a
Steak.
contract to give it back.
She's different. Get her. She's wearing a bunny suit. Everybody be mean to her.
It's true facts. Chat. Okay, here's the goals. A partner, I'll hit partner. And then we get face reveal, okay? And then if we go something massive, some massive achievement,
Sorry.
then, and only then, will I do bunny suit.
You trick.
No, partner is face reveal. Because I'm eventually going to want to go to like TwitchCon, so y'all will see me anyways. God, I hate when that just happens. What do you mean? Oh God, don't run towards the fog! Ah! This is the new Silent Hill. Don't you worry, child. Everything up for you. Help me. S tier villain. Exactly. We got to S tier. I'm stuck. No. I'm amazing, Penguin. I'm currently trying not to die. We're playing Silent Hill right now. Like that's what the game says, right? FF. Oh God. Turn a corner. No! No, the spider! Okay. Well. It went through my leg. It's fine. There we go. I'm going. That's fine, Robin. If you can't watch it, you can't watch it. I appreciate your advice. F. Huh? Yeah, stand. Good girl. Oh, thank you. Around the corner we go. Ow. Hey. There it is. This is crazy. Wait, what the? Huh? Which way? I'm so confused. I guess I died again.
What?
Okay.
I'm so bad at this, chat.
Okay. Okay. So I went this way. That's what I missed. Okay. Let go, let go, let go, let go. Stay away from the walls. That's a dead end. No, 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 no. Let go, 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 let go. Okay. Okay.
Hina, don't give up.
Oh. Oh, thank God.
Girly pop, climb!
Oh, the game's a little bit loud? Okay, 1 second. Is volume better? Did you hear? You did it, bunny girl. I'm so proud of you. Anyways, there's a fog monster apparently, and the fog is making the spores. Feel free to sit on my shoulders. That's fine. Note from Shu: these painkillers should work best for you. They'll not only take care of your headaches, but also pain from injuries. Oh, chat's blocking the thing again. Okay, 1 second, chat. I gotta adjust you. Let me adjust chat again. Oh, God. Y'all are always in my way. I'm gonna toggle your borders. Pull you in. Thank you for the lurksies. That should do it. Okay. I suspect that the main cause behind your nasty headaches is from your unconscious grinding your teeth when you're upset. Does that sound right? If you ever need to talk or anything, just call my name and I'll be there. Just call my name. You're afraid of horror games? Oh, I would not suggest watching today. Anybody's afraid of horror games? I'm gonna tell you, today may not be the best day to hang out. But if you aren't, and you do want to hang, feel free to do so. If it was a rich girl, la da 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 da. Said I would have all the money in the world if I was a wealthy girl. Alright, this should work now. Alright, do we have, was it 1? There we go, we're just gonna take a couple painkillers. Popping some pills. Charging iPad, nice.
I need to get back to Sakuko.
Wait, so... I kind of really fucking dig this, though, chat. This is kind of amazing. Oh, no. Oh, no, the map is big. The map is gigantic, chat. This is terrifying. I had hoped.
Who's there? Is that you, Shu?
Mm-hmm. Perfect. These are magic bunny ears to go through things. Can you be the voice of reason? What's the voice of reason? Oh, you can tell me whatever you like. No, no, no. Don't trust the walls. The walls are fine. Walls are fine. All walls are great. I love walls. Walls and me, best friends. You might not know this, chat, but I once was a wall.
I dated a wall. Oh, Jesus. Okay, well, that's pretty. Oh, hi. Fucking. Oh. Oh. Hello. Do you. Oh. No, please. Angel, what's up? How you doing? She ain't got no eyes. How's she gonna see me? Alright, we're just gonna dodge. Alright, we're gonna dodge. Okay.
Stay back.
Oh my god, they move so weird. Okay, well. I'll be alright. I'll be alright. I got my own thing. I'm a self-starter, chat. I'm a self-starter. Taking my pills. And are you telling me you don't like my room? Are you telling me you don't like my new place? Crazy. I thought my new place was very pretty. I even you know, I'm okay, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't decorate. But you know, it's cool. It has potential. It has potential. Oh, Jesus. Well, look, killer. Never. I would never kill it. I'm not legally allowed to kill people yet. That's, you know, higher tier. No, but it's a, no, it's a, what do you mean a tear down? It's a build up. Oh, last century looter. Ooh. See, this is what happens, chat. They've been stealing my junk for years, and I gotta take their junk. Fixer upper. That's what the Moonflower. Thank you, sweetie. You know how I love you so very much. Because you help me and you teach me things. So I gotta keep you around. Robin Hood stuff. Yeah. You know, I steal from the rich, the well-off, and I give to myself, who is poor. So, you know, Robin Hood. Exactly. It's not a dumpster. It's not a dumpster. It could be worse. It could be... Hello? It's a mask. Okay. What's that? Oh, it's a key. Oh, is it a key or is it a mask? It is a key. All right. I'm needy. I don't need anything, Chad. I'm self-sufficient. Broke fuck-ass goblin living in a condemned heaven. You know, I mean, they said some things about me being a broke fuck-ass goblin, and sometimes... shit. Hello. Can I, like... Alright. You got some news? I bet. Let me hear it. Feel free to DM me. Open the door. Ah! Stop stabbing me! Well, this was not the right place. Ah, climb! Climb faster! Climb faster! Bunny girl, you gotta be going faster than that, sweetie.
This isn't good. I really hope Shin and Rinko are alright.
Would I be able to survive this IRL? You see, chat. Me? Ha! Fuck. Built different. Easy. I'm just... You can use one right now. I got an antique comb. Yay! Chat, don't make fun of me. You forget built different.
Ringo!
These things are just so weird.
It's time to do. Pick that shit up. We about to beat them down. Let's go. Pick up your weapon.
Slay.
Slay your enemy. All right, it's this. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry I'm overstimming you. Oh, didn't dodge. Oh, I need more stamina. Okay. I died. Oh, it's that time. Well. Here we go again. Southern voice. Oh, I'm sorry you're having some issues, Neeks. I hope you do better later. We're gonna be here for a little while. Let's fucking do this shit. All right, I'm gonna learn how to fight, chat. That's what we're gonna do in the break time. You ready? Yeah, oh, hell yeah. All right, so we're gonna do a little bit of this. There it is. There it is. There it is. And last, boom. And then we hit him right on the back. And we hit him again. One for good measure. Oh, she gone. Did you see that? You see that? That was incredible, chat. How was the gym, Dwarf? Dwarf, you haven't seen the new place. I guess it is ad break time. Hey, Dwarf, you want to see the new place? Come on, Dwarf. I'm going to take you back to... This is a temporary base for our evil doing, okay? Okay? So here it is. A temporary base. I mean, it's registered. It only cost me $100. So I got us a new place. It's fine. It's lovely. Ain't it amazing? And I mean, like, here. Well, take a look. I'll show you the features, all right? So first, most important feature. Give me a second. I'll go here. Oh, wow. It's going to be a lot harder now that I'm not in the right screens for this. But look, I mean, like, see, we got this thing back here. So yeah, I got a little window back here. Perfect, amazing. And I can go here. Go back up front. See? Yeah, no, it's a starter layer. And we got a few other places too. I mean, we got this. We got the freezer section. Lovely. And we got the void. And sometimes I just like to sit here and just experience the void for a while. So yeah. It's all right. It is what it is. It is what it is. Also, thank you for gifting the sub to Arctic. Really, really appreciate it. But yeah. I mean, it could be worse. And look, it was cheap. It came pre-registered as a layer. Like for the first base as a villain, I think it's perfect. All right, and we'll get better ones. Maybe we'll catch me on some crime scenes, and then we'll figure that out. Yeah. The Cinnamon Toast Crunch guys, the BG. Name for the follow, Jonathan. Welcome. We're gonna be stuck on the Southern Voice for another 2 minutes. All right, let's keep going. But I think I figured out fighting, chat. I'm ready. No one at this time. All right. Counter. All right. The visual hint indicates the counter is possible. It will be visible for longer when you're using control to focus. If no visual hint was shown during the enemy's attack, the attack cannot be countered. Additionally, hints will not appear if Hinako's attacking or dodging, so keep a close eye on the enemy movements. All right. I see. I understand. There we go. We follow up. We follow up. And we got her. We did it. Amazing. Connect, connect, connect. I love the bunny girl outfit. I'm gonna be honest. It's gotta be the greatest thing. But how you doing, Jonathan? Lovely to see you. Doodle-doo-doo-doo. Toolkit, a portable toolkit. Hell yeah. Once a weapon's durability is exhausted, that weapon will break and disappear. Toolkits can be used to restore durability. Oh, that's durability over there. All right. Okay. Solid. Solid. I appreciate it. My friend said the monster I killed was hot. I mean, everybody's got their tastes, right? Everybody's got their tastes. Chat. I mean, the Hear Me Out cake's happening Saturday. The Hear Me Out cake's happening Saturday. We're doing 3 streams potentially. Left. I'm gonna be on Dawn's stream, so we're gonna be doing the normal. I'm gonna be doing an early stream Saturday. Then we're gonna be going and being on Dawn's stream, which is gonna be a Jeopardy stream. Then we're gonna be. I got a doctor's appointment actually, and then Hear Me Out cake at night. Be a lot of fun. I forgot that scene made. And I can drop this up. Southern voice again. Yay. Oh, here we go again. Oh. Why even... Yeah! Bunny be laying down pipe. You're right about that. You're right about that. Girl is intense. I mean, can you imagine? The throat singing is killing me. I gotta go to the hospital. You just reminded me. Hi, I gotta... Oh, good luck. I believe in you. Enjoy your hospital visit. V for villains. You're gonna store sanity. Taking psychological damage will continue to decrease once you have no sanity. Huh? Oh. Wait. Where do I? Ah. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Okay, wait. Where's my sanity at? I think I want faith, right? Faith is something I think I want. Greatly restores. Yeah. We're gonna offer this to get faith. Okay. Perfect. Okay, what do we do with this? Receive a random whatever. Oh, hell yeah. Decreases enemy line of... Oh, it's charms! Oh, okay. Oh, wait a second. Okay, I get this. I get this. What are y'all doing? Why are you throwing ass? What are you throwing ass to? Are you throwing ass to throw singing? Y'all are insane. I hope you know that. I hope you all know how insane you are. Greatly restores. We'll use both of these. Why not? Hi, Echo Rose. How you doing? Mm-hmm. There we go. Ain't me throw singing. You're not insane? Prove it right now. I think she's fine, chat. She's fine. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong right now, chat. Me guilty? Nah. I've never been guilty of anything in my life. Girl, look at me. Do I look like I could be guilty of anything? Look at the smile. Innocent. This is the face of never commit crime. Ever. At least that's what I tell the cops. Oh, no, I'm an innocent good boy. I've never committed crime. I do not sneak anywhere to steal food. You can't prove that. Look, I haven't had the chance to commit crime, chat. I haven't registered. We're still working on the registry.
You dreamed of a different life. A family that owned a candy store. Instead of some stuffy old shrine. And here, it's all yours. As much candy as you could ever want.
Mm-hmm. Echo, I need to talk to you later. This is important. I had lore ideas. Oh, Oreo. That can be a lot worse. What? Why shirt rip? Don't worry about it. I love when people actively lurk.
Go home. The store's closed for the day.
It's so sick, by the way, chat. Y'all are so cool. Boku.
Even if you're gone, I promise. No matter what.
Fire. Oh shit! No! Already. One second. I need to write something down real quick. Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh no! Yeah. It's about the agency that I need to register with. It's very important. Where? Oh, where? Oh, where? Oh, where? There you are. Mm. Anyways. We dead. Hi, Desi. What's up? Boku. All right, here we go. Take a pill. Watch her. Okay, lock on. Watch. Get ready. But Z, what do we have? Hydrates on. I'm on it. Wait, one sec. Okay, first stretch. Oh, I see it now. Sorry about that. And also the. Ooh, wow. Thank you for the stretch and the hydrate. Oh. 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 My bad, chat. I got this. I got this. Let's go. Oh, I'm sorry you're stewing in your bedroom. Oh, there's no frame on that one. Okay. And we died. Wow. This is difficult. Okay. I've learned. No, yeah, don't try to reduce my difficulty, game. Game, don't be like, oh, Gene, you're doing so bad. Oh, wait, no, but I countered. Did counter not work? And hit her again. There it is. Oh, there's more. Oh no, there's more. Oh, come on. No. Come on, out of it. There it is. Follow up. Shoot. No. Out of there. Ugh. Yes! Thank you. We will start all over. We will start back over with the voice. I apologize that I was forgetting the voice. Hello. And hello, thank you so much for the follow, Yuri Nori. How are you doing? Welcome. She's going bonkers. I mean, this girl, top tier, amazing. Best pro tag ever. She be bashing that she is so cool. Also, I am such a good doggy. Hello, Amtus. How you doing? Amtus, I still need to send you this thing. Don't let me forget. Just ping me today and I will look at it. Yes. But I also need to send Casey's a poem today. I have so much shit I need to do. Okay. There we go. There we go. Where am I? Okay. Where are we, actually? Have I not been... Is that a... Oh, that's a fox. I thought that was a very large squirrel. It would have been very interesting. Wouldn't it have been? There's also some angry squirrels, chat. Wait, I'm not a doggy. Why are you calling me a doggy? No doggy here. No doggy. Playing Borderlands. Oh, that sounds like fun. So restless. Restless heart betrays thee as unfit for this auspicious day. Thou must first pay respect to the gods and the spirits of thine ancestors. A restless heart leads to corrupt soul. Only two sufficient offerings laid upon may thy soul be cleansed. Well. Okay. Sounds good. Oh, what is all of this? I guess we need to find these offerings or something. Interesting. Okay, interessante. I don't know what's this. Wait. I'm going to plan random things here. Okay, this looks like leaves. That looks like sticks. This looks like flowers. No, this... maybe. What if I put you here and I put you there? Okay. What is this? This is like... Oh! Wait a second. Aha! That one is good. Oh! Very good, Lost Soul. I would love to see it. Good. I'm proud of you. Okay. Oh, that's a bird. Hello, bird. Okay, and if we see that one's very easy. Wait. No, not yet. Okay. So first, this is like those flowers, yes? So that goes here. This, we are going to look around. Okay, this has the leaf. So the leaf, it goes there. Okay, and now, that has paper. Oh, but I see the print. And the print be matching this. Hello, thank you for... We did it! Ha! Look at me, so smart. And thank you for the hydrate. I have the water right here. Not a puppy. But Lost Soul, how was your day? Was it good? Did you have a good day? I hope it was great. I hope it was amazing. Und fantastic. Fantastisch. The pretty kind? I will leave the hall. The lucky kind. I'm a lucky villain. Very lucky. Well, open the door! Open the door! Open the door. Aw, thank you, Desi. Oh my god.
Good morning. That must have
It is a fox.
Nightmare?
Are you injured? You must not be so reckless.
Oh, he's pretty.
You should take better care of yourself.
Oh, hello.
Thanks.
Shall we
No,
get
go
going?
back in his arms. Back in his arms. Why are you getting it? Why would you get out of his arms? Why would you leave his arms? Come on, girl, fox, bunny. It is meant to be. Get up in there.
What's wrong?
You can't claim the fox man, chat.
This way.
What do you mean he's kinda? He not kinda. He heavily. God, come here. Follow Fox Mask. It's so dark, chat. What am I voting? Hey, Bun. Who simps for who now? Oh, I'm not much for teams. But still sounds interesting. Oh. Okay, wait. Oh, damn, it's a puzzle. Wait. What kind of puzzle? What if I... Okay, move. So this is something. Why, what is with Silent Hill and puzzles?
Hinako.
I do think it's funny that like the one of the most like well-known like Japanese horror games, we have like Resident Evil, which became an action game, and then Silent Hill, which is mostly a puzzle game. Claim with consent. Fair enough. A beautiful dagger used for ceremonial purpose. The blade has been intentionally dulled, so it doesn't make the best weapon. However, it does seem surprisingly durable. You're right. You so right. The Nari statue's laughing. Creepy. I mean, okay. So, chat, if anybody knows anything about foxes take you into the woods and they do things to you. And if you ever interrupt a fox's wedding, which I have a feeling something like that's going to end up happening, it does result in you being taken. And so foxes tend to be bad. So I'm going with the vibe that the fox is evil. We are being led astray. And that is why I'm a bunny.
I guess I better follow him.
We'll see, though. I don't be me. But who knows? But that still makes him more attractive, even if he is a giant evil monster that's gonna like split open his face. Huh? No, no, I'm not a bunny and I'm not a puppy. I'm neither.
It's this shrine.
I mean, like, the entirety of this thing is like, look at these evil fox. Look how evil this fox is. Oh my god, the fox is so evil.
I have prepared a key for you. This way.
But this is actually how foxes look like in a lot of Japanese mythology, or I think it's Japanese, where the fox will have a humanoid form, and if you spy them in their humanoid form without their fox suits, that is when they take you. Worse. I love mythology, chat. It's so beautiful.
All right, let's enshrine. Let's offer some stuff. We are number one. His eyes are nice. And he's spreading his white hair. I know, chat. And every guy who's pretty and has piercing, weird monster eyes, you should trust.
It's locked.
Remember, chat. Always trust the pretty monsters. They'll never lead you astray. What? Oh, no. No, no. That's how we do it. Okay. If not morally good, then why attractive? Chat, exactly. Look at me. I'm pretty, aren't I? So, like... yeah. You should trust me. With everything. What is this doing here? Oh no, she grabbed a thing. No, I wouldn't trust me. Okay, freaking weird. Oh my Jesus, okay. Oh, oh. Come on, baby girl. There it is. It's okay, honey bunch. You don't need to live. Oh, cutie. Okay. No, 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 no. No, 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 more. I'm like half health. Why would I need a heal? Oh, what is that about heaven and going to the gates of hell? We'll check out everything. Yeah. I might need to sacrifice it for stuff later. No, you see, good healers know
That all you have to do is keep them above dying. Your goal is not to keep them alive. Not to keep them full. Your goal is just to keep them alive. They don't need full health. Okay. Right, open the door. Okay, so we're here. Wait, what is going... Okay, there's something I'm missing here.
That wasn't right.
Okay. Are you playing MMOs or are you playing FPS? Okay. Okay. Bloodstained letter. Oh, MMO, that makes sense. Yeah. For those who have yet to abandon hope, I've hidden the Onmari that protects against evil behind the Emma at. I can at least to its efficiency. No, you must remain vigilant. This heirloom belongs to my grandmother, and I pass it to you. I do not think I have use for it now. Okay. I messed up. Enjoy soccer practice. That was wrong. Damn it. Oh, no. Well, I tried. This one's kind of fun. Oh shit, not this again. Damn it, I got stuck. That was good. Got it. Okay, clues you have found will be listed in your journal. Okay, lightning cast down from heaven, split asunder the decayed tree. From the earth goes Kudzu, the prophet of the eternal prosperity. Okay. Could it be this thing? Because that's not demonic. Right? I'm so confused. Okay. There is something I am just straight up not understanding. Okay, something is here. All of this I'm not understanding. Hello, Honey Mel. How you doing? Wait, hello? How arth you? I arth good. I beeth good. How about you? There's something going on here. There's something I'm missing. Okay. No help. No help. I will figure it out. Oh. Hello there, pretty. Oh. Hi, gorgeous. Messed up. Come on, come on, come on. There it is. One. Come on, there it is. Come on. Ah! There it is. Heal up a little bit. And good night, lovely. Aw. What a silly little thing. Okay. Somewhere here is what I'm looking for. It's gotta be that. It's gotta be that, right?
Seems right. Better look for more.
Okay. I get it now. It's the classic. It's the classic, you know. Find the odd man out. It's just the odd man out. Not that difficult. Okay, where's the next one? But honey, Mel, how have you been? How's your day been going? Everything's going well. No, 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 no. Is this the one we just at? No, this is a new one. I am adorable. I will admit to that. Alright. No, 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 no. That is we are number one. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Glad you noticed. No, 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 no. Okay, there's two separate ones here. Where is the odd one out? Where could it be? Na 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 na. I think it's the kitty. I want it to be the kitty. That ain't it. Mom, Dad, I don't think I'm home. I just wish I could see you one last time. There it is.
One left.
There it is. 1, 2, 3. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. 1, 2, and gone. Freshman Water said to... Oh, my. Is this the last area? Yeah, it should be the last one. Okay. Keep an eye out for a chat. You know what we're looking for. Let me tell me when you see it. Not here. Oh, we're looking for a colorful one that sticks out. It's usually like, it's a plant. Is that it? No, that's a weird ass cat. I think it's the cat with human ears. It's gotta be here. Okay, wait a second. It can't be that weird cat, can it? It's not this cat. Oh! Okay. That's not the one I'm looking for. I don't think it is. No, there's still one more. For those who have abandoned hope, I found the more that protects against evil behind the anima. Okay. Where is it? Because not unless it's a snake. That ain't it. Okay. Nothing out of the ordinary here. It's not gonna be something goofy like it's on the backside of one of these, is it? Addie, Mel. Oh. There it is. Come on, baby girl. Come on, baby girl. Fight it up. Missed that one. Two, three, four. Got that one. And Okay. I'm going crazy here, right? Like, it's not the stupid lightning. It's not the lightning. The lightning, that's bad, and we've seen lightning a few times. So, hey, this. Hey, Ulrika, it's still going pretty well. How are you doing? We've already got the cat. The cat wasn't what we're looking for, but the cat gave me something fun. Maybe this weird red crane? I don't think it's the crane, but maybe. Oh, I'm glad you're living. Living is important. Come on. It's something here. I know it's something. Wait.
This is gonna be stupid if I have to go further. Someone had a flower? This one? Or this one?
Stay dead.
There ain't no flower. At the beginning. Where? All right. You have fun. Bye. This one? There's no flower here. Well, okay. I love the bunny fit. Yeah. Got it. All right. The pink fit is amazing. I love the pink fit. I'm dead. Well, I think that might be where we call it for today, chat. That might be where we call it for today. Boom, 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 boom. You know, I'll put on the green screen. Don't worry, chat. It's fine. It's gonna, green screen. Yeah, that's what we're gonna call it for today. I don't know where the stupid thing is, but you know, it happened. It was fun. It's a good game. I enjoyed it. What? What? You know how long we stream, chat. Don't you awe me? Don't you be like, Gene, what do you mean? I won't forget, Empress. I have messaged myself to do the thing. Hi, Allie. Allie, how long have you been here? Hi. Is this the new place? Oh, no. This is not the new place. Sorry. I'll show you the new place. Do you want to see the new place? Here, give me a second. I'll show you the new place. It's fine. Don't worry about it. So, yeah. Is the new place? It's you know, look, it was cheap. And it's starting off as a lair. It's gonna be our first lair. It's our first lair, chat. I mean, like, look, I haven't gotten registered yet as a villain, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. Like, look, it's totally fine. And I mean, you know, and then I can like appear over here. See, and we have this counter over here. We can do stuff like, yeah. I mean, there's snacks. There's definitely snacks, and you know, it's just fine. And so, you know, I can also do that. And hi, see, it's no, hey, Ocean, not escaping. You're not, yeah, skipping. And look, we even got a freezer section. You know, the freezer's great. Oh no, that's not the freezer section. Here, oh, that's the void. You know, it's hard to keep track of things. But look, here we got a freezer. So you know, it's perfect. You're not allowed to escape. Stop escaping. God, I need to upgrade the storage facility, honestly. But you know, it's a little bit of a fixer-upper. A little bit of a fixer-upper, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. Enjoy your D&D. You're gonna do great. Have you been DMing? How's your DMing been going well? No running. Stop running. Look. It's fine. This place is perfect. It's amazing. It was cheap. It was almost free. So, you know, don't knock it. Okay? Just wait until I get enough money. Okay, when I get enough money and we get registered, I can get a nicer place. But for now, it's a starter place. Yeah.
Does the open sign turn on? Not yet. Don't worry about the asbestos. The asbestos is fine. It adds flavor, character. Adds character. Well, yeah. I mean, like, I don't want people coming in. If they think it's like a real convenience store, I mean, like, look, it looks like it's a real convenience store. I don't want people coming in. People might try to buy things, and I have to sell things. And what am I going to do then, huh? What am I going to do? I'm just gonna go back behind the counter or something, you know? And be all like, you know, welcome in. What do you want to buy? Sorry, we actually don't sell anything, and there's no money here, actually. Stop trying to rob us. I know it looks like we're robbable, but, like, I'm here to rob you. Okay. Look, if anybody's going to rob anybody, it will be me robbing you. So, $20. You know. Exactly. Maybe we'll clean it up. Maybe we'll clean it up and we'll make it like a nice actual convenience store, and then we run crime out of it. Yeah. Maybe. Okay, I'll see if I can find a working convenience store next time. But for now, it works. It works. Yeah. It's functional. Could be worse. It could 100% be worse, chat. You know it could be. It's not ghetto. It's not ghetto. It's okay, it's a little ghetto, but look. It's home. It's home. For now. It's not ghetto, it's get home. Okay? You can have chocolate. I will get you guys can go through the snacks, see what's still good, and it'll be fine. Okay? Well, yeah. Anyways, I gotta put the green screen back on. Give me a second while I put the green screen back. It's fine. There's the green screen, and much better. Isn't that nice? See? Perfect. Okay, so let's find somebody we can raid into. We're gonna hop off of here. You're gonna be nice and kind and sweet and amazing, right? Right? Hey, no showing dead bodies off, chat, okay? No dead bodies. No dead bodies. There ain't not a dead body here. Okay. There's no dead bodies. Look, I wouldn't show you the dead bodies if there were dead bodies, but there's no dead bodies. Promise. Okay, let's see who we can raid into, chat. Let's see who we can raid into. We got good. So we're gonna see. We're gonna go to. Oh, it's ad break. It's gonna ad soon. Okay. Don't worry about it. Okay, we have Keeper's doing Silent Hill. Lulu Lupo's doing Silent Hill. Chat, do you want more Silent Hill or do you want something else? What's the vibes? What's the vibes? Yeah, more Silent Hill or no Silent Hill? What do you want, chat? You want to watch somebody play Peak? Peak? We could do... You want Silent Hill? Okay, we'll raid into Keeper doing Silent Hill. Y'all say hi to Keeper. Be lovely, be good. Oh my god, they're a cat girl. Why is Keeper a cat girl? Well, go say hi to Keeper. Do a lucky raid. Give me your snacks. There you go. Lucky raid. Give me your snacks. There's the raid message. Chat, copy it. And I will see you next time, okay? Y'all be good. Love y'all so very, 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 very much. Mwah. And I got a bunch of work to do now, so bye-bye.